A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum and hello and welcome to Maxafter.com's another exciting tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be creating fire. So this is what we'll be doing. So are you guys ready? Let's start the tutorial. Right, here we are in After Effects. So first thing first, let's create a folder for tutorial. So we have created a folder now, and let's create a new composition. We go to composition, new composition, let's give it 900 by 270, and we'll write edit text here and click OK. So let's create a new composition, and which is inside tutorial. Right? Okay, let's go and click the text tool here, or go to layer, or just go to layer, new text, and here we will write max. Right, let's change the color. This is the characters panel. If you don't have it here, you can activate it from Windows and character. Right, and just change the color to black and increase the size. Let's bring it down a little bit. Press shift and bring it down so it stays, it's locked, so it remains in the center. And I will choose bold here and just decrease. Right, so let's just go to composition, background setting. Let's make it like dark color, something gray or something like that. And here let's change this to white. Right, so we have got our text now. Why we created this text? Because now we'll go to create a final composition, and in that composition we will create particular. We'll tell particular to emit particles from the text, or within the text, or inside the text. They will stick to it. Right, so that's why we created this. Now let's go and create a new composition. You go to composition, new composition, and here we'll write 002 final tut. So this is our final composition, and let's make it HD TV 24, and let's keep it like 900. Right, so the rest is fine. Press OK. So it's 18 seconds long. We don't need 18 seconds. What's there? Just it's okay, no problem. Let's keep it there. Right, now let's go and create a new layer. Layer, new solid, and this one is basically particular. We call this particular. Right, so let's go and apply particular. Go to effects and presets. This is also a panel. If it's not here, you can activate it from here. Effects and presets. Also you can access the effects from here. So effects, and you go to Trapcode and particular. Right, so here we are in particular. Now let's bring our text as a reference, the text that we created earlier. Drag and drop in here. This is the text. Now this text is just for reference, so let's press enter and call this one reference. Right, so this one's for reference. Spelling reference. Right, reference. I hope I've spelled it correct. Anyway, so let's shut the eye because we don't need this at the moment, and press E on your keyboard, double click, and we'll open up the panel for particular. Go to emitter, and here instead of emitter type to point, we will use layer, and here we'll come down, come to layer emitter, and we change the layer to the reference. Right, so now it says that the layer has to be 3D. Okay, let's go and change the reference layer to be 3D. Now go back to Particular. Actually, I should have done this earlier, but it's okay, we can go back and change this. Change this to none and change this to reference. Now you can see that the particles are being emitted from the reference. Okay, now let's increase the particles to like 1000 and velocity turn down to 0, all this turn down to 0. Right, emitter to 0. Now you can see that the text, the particles are stuck within the text, the reference text, right? Right, so let's scroll down and change this to layer RGB usage to RGB size, velocity and rotation, because this gives you more control of color and all that. So let's change the direction uniform to directional, so this is more dynamic. And also these are just little changes, you know, you can play around with them. So and go to particles now. In particle we change this to sphere, and feather we don't want feather, so let's keep it 1 or 2, that's it, you know. And life is 3 seconds, and let's change the life randomness to 25. So these are the values, you know, I got these values after playing around with these values for quite a long time, and then I got these values, so I know these values, so that's why I'm putting it there. Right, and the size, let's change the size to 20 or something. Okay, let's change the randomness to 25, and size, you know, let's change this to 12 or something, that's too big. Right, and opacity change this to 44, and then we change this to 100, you know. Set color, we want color over life, right? So color over life, you go to color over life and change the color to, here for example we want the color to be, you know, a bit orangish. So let's bring this here in the middle and just put another one here and keep it dark, because I want them to start off with, you know, a bit darker and then gains the color and then dies, you know. And transfer mode to add, right? Let's go to physics and move these particles. So gravity minus 25 and time factor to 2. Now you can see that it's starting to work. So as you can see, it's already has started to work, and we need to tweak a little more, you know, to get a good result, right? Right, as you can see that the gravity is a bit too much, so let's just change this to minus 15. So 15 is, it goes downwards, minus 15 goes upwards, right? And let's go change with the opacity over life. So the opacity when it starts, we don't want it too much. Let's change to this one and then create like that, you know. So because this you know, you can customize the opacity with this. So at birth, you know, it starts and it comes and gains the peak and then it dies slowly. So similarly we'll do the same thing to size over life. Let's select this one, and size, you know, when it starts, you know, we don't want just start just like that, so we do the same thing with this like that. And now if you see that shaping up, right? So let's add other effects so that once you know how it works, then we can come back to air. Right, let's apply the next effect, which is roughen edges, and drag and drop on top of particular. And here just change this to 0, this to 0.05. Like I said, I've got these values, you know, after playing around, so let's keep it like that. And change this to 0.55, and scale, just change this to 63. Now if you can see that it's shaping up, it's already getting there. So basically, you know, it's just all trial and error, so you need to spend more time with these panels here and spinners, you know, so that you can get the best results. so you can make your file more realistic if you spend more time here. So these are the values that you play around with them. Right, and we come here to offset turbulence, and this one, this basically shows that the file is going upwards. As you can see, the spinner, this is moving, and you will also notice here a little bit, that it's getting the direction upwards, So let's put a keyframe here. Go to frame 0 and put a keyframe for offset turbulence, and let's go to like 10 seconds, and let's move it, here. And now if you can see that, also just a little, effect that helps towards getting better results. Right, so we have done the roughen effects, roughen edges, and now let's go and move towards our next step. Right, let's go and apply the next effect, which is vector blur, CC vector blur, and apply it here. And let's change this amount to 10 and rigid smoothness to 18, and this one to probably 8 or something, and change the property to alpha. So as you can see that it's already, getting there. Right, so let's apply our next effect, which is turbulent displacement. Drag and drop on top of it, and evolution. Press Alt on your keyboard, click the swatch here, and write times 150. So this gives a bit of a wavy effect to the fire. Right now it's too much, so what we will change a few settings here. So we'll change the size to 10, and now let's see how it looks. See how nice it looks. Right, so it's now 10. And okay, so let's apply another effect, which is glow. Right, and again we'll drag and drop on top of it and change the colors to, let's say, change this to red, this one's to yellow, and change the colors from original colors from A to B. Okay, so now let's change this to 38 and change this to 0.5, and again this to 0.5. So as you can see that the fire here, and now let's change this a little bit more to orange color. Right, and probably increase this to 48 or something, and let's see how it looks now. So we are getting there. Right, so right now as you can see that the fire is coming up at the same time with M, A and X, but what we'll do here is I don't want it like that coming up all of a sudden, so I want the M to be to fire up first, or X or A, to give it a variation. So for that we have what we do is we go back to edit text here and then apply fractal noise, so let's just take it to the next level, and we'll apply fractal noise here. As you can see, fractal noise. Now basically what is happening here is we have given a different color tone. Is basically the particular will read the white color and ignore the black, so what we'll do is then if we go back to final, you'll see that now the fire is coming up from the dark areas and is coming up from the white areas and is ignoring the dark areas. So what we do is let's duplicate the reference here, Control D, and let's name it text so that we'll have an idea what's going on here. Turn on the text, and now you can see that the text is, the the fire is being emitted, or the particles are being emitted only from the white area. Basically, this is the same tutorial that I did for the Knowing Earth tutorial, so but a bit more advanced this time. So as you can see that the fire is coming out only from this area. So this gives it a bit of variation, and it looks nice as well. So let's go back to the text, edit text, and animate this fractal noise. Right, so if it's here, let's say that evolution, let's press Alt and write time times 150. So you can see that the evolution is moving. So if you go back now to Final Cut, and then you'll see that the file will also move with the evolution. Right, isn't that amazing? So I really like this effect, how it's reacting with the color. Right, so now let's go back, and so if it starts from here, if you press fractal noise back here, so let's say if it starts from here, right, so let's put a keyframe for brightness, and when it comes here like 3 seconds or something, I want it to be whole, full white, so that the fire is at its peak here. So it's basically like that now. So it's a bit fast. So what we do here is, let's do it like that. Press U and right click Easy Ease Keyframe Assistant, and let's say Easy Ease. We want it to ease in, not that fast. So now if you go back, and if you see that the fire coming up, but not at the same time. Isn't that amazing? So it's reacting with the evolution of fractal noise or with the colors. Right. Right, so let's play around with the text, and let's solo this layer and apply fractal noise to it. And let's when it's lit up, it looks a bit rough, because it caught fire. So let's apply turbulent displacement. Right, and let's change this to 25 and 8. Right, and let's change the evolution. Press Alt and write an expression time times 150. Why I did that? Because when it catches fire, we see kind of mirage inside the fire. So this is what that effect, I'm trying to give that effect. So that's what's happening right now. So these little things add great detail to a project, right? So now if we unsolo the layer, you will see what I mean. Right, now let's go and apply glow to it. Do the same thing with the glow. Change this to orange and change this to yellow, and original colors to A to B, and let's say so. Right. So play around with these values. Let's apply a drop shadow to it. So these are just minor details, nothing complicated. Right, so this is text. Duplicate this text, Control D, and change this to solid text. And let's press E, and let's just delete all this and fill it up, or just ramp it, just put a ramp to it, because in the beginning we want to show that this text is solid, then that caught fire with time. So, and let's bring it here and change this to radial, give it a metallic touch, and actually we need to apply, you know, bevel to this one as well. Effect bevel alpha. So let's just increase the bevel and change the glow. It's not looking nice, right? Okay, change this to further red, you know. Okay, right, and so we got our bevel. Go to text solid and apply bevel to it as well. Just apply a nice simple bevel to it, that's it. Right, now press T on your keyboard and bring, okay, keep it 100, put a keyframe here, and when it comes here you want this to be 0. It's 100. So it transforms into the other text, you know. Now let's quickly add a background to it. Layer, new, solid. Actually these are the things that I've done in my other tutorials many times, you know, so I'm just going through it quickly. And put fractal noise to it, you know, same thing, and just make it look like clouds, you know. Dynamic. And let's move the clouds. Let's go to subsetting and sub offset, you know. Put a keyframe here and just let's move it up, you know, so they are moving up. Right, evolution, very important. Alt stopwatch time 150, so they are evolving and changing at the same time, right? And let's apply mask to it. Okay, let's actually create a new layer, delete this layer, go back to BG and create a new mask around it, you know, and change the mask to, press M, change to invert, and press F, change this to this, you know, change the BG to go to composition, background to black color. Right, so this was basically particular fire. Let's Control D or edit, duplicate this one, and we will call this smoke. Pretty simple, and press E on your keyboard, and then we go to particle and change the colors. That's it, you know. Set color over life to something like that. So basically the smoke color is, keep it like that. Actually just solo this so that we know what is happening here. So as you can see, and we go to physics and just increase it a little bit, you know. Let's keep it -20, sorry, -20. Okay, and we don't want glow, you know. So what we do is just delete the glow for the smoke. And now if you see that the smoke, and we bring it under the particular fire, and the smoke, you know, we want the smoke to start first and then the fire. So what we do is press T and bring it down to 0, and then, you know, increase the fire. So that smoke is coming out first, as you can see, and then the fire. Right, and let's go and change the smoke particle to, let's make this -25 so that moves up fast. Probably here somewhere. So as you can see, the smoke is coming out first, but that's a bit too fast. So what we do is -50, you know, just keep it there, and change this to a bit darker color. So now you can see the smoke is coming out along with the other stuff, you know. Right, now let's go and Control D this, or edit duplicate, and change this to sparks. Right, press E, double click here, and you come here to emitter particle, and we change the size to basically 1. Let's solo this. Okay, size. Just delete the rest of the stuff we don't need for the sparks. Just keep the glow there. Now keep the sparks to 1 and glow to, want it to be glowy, and size to, let's increase the size. And this time we go to emitter and increase the velocity to 50 or something, you know. So these are the sparks coming out as well. And we bring it down and come to rendering and increase the motion blur. Comp setting changes to on. And so if you got motion blur as well, you can increase it from here if you like. But it affects the RAM as well, you know. So too many particles, what we do is just change to 500 or something. That's it. And go down to physics. So you're not doing anything complicated, we're just going down and changing the values, you know, -20, and come back to velocity, just change this to 10, 10, 10. Right? Cool. Change this to add. So now you've got our fire, smoke, and sparks all at the same time. So isn't that amazing? Right, now the fire, if we go to fire and press particular, I want the fire to just, you know, shoot up, you know, and then slow down. So we come down to physics, and so air, and we come down to turbulent displacement. So right here, affect position. So let's say the position is like this, you know, very windy kind of a situation, and all of a sudden, you know, it comes up, and here let's change it, comes back to 10. So now let's see the effect, how it looks. Save your work. See, it comes up with a fire, with a power, and then it slowly, you know, dies. So that's the effect. So these little details, you know, it takes your project to the next level. Alright, so isn't that looks amazing. Right, now the best part here is now you can go back to text and just edit your text to any text that you like, you know, or any font that you like. You can see that just takes the shape of the reference, right? So you can make a logo animation out of it very easily. Now if you go back to edit text, so what I did was I just turned off this layer and go to layer, new, solid, and I just applied simple layer and go to mask, go inside here and click and press shift and control at the same time, right, and duplicate this mask and change this to invert and press expansion, bring it down. Okay, go to composition, background color, because you can't see this. This is dark. Sorry, add. Change this add to subtract. Right, and go and select this tool, rectangular tool, and create a shape, and let's invert it. Not invert, subtract it. So I'm just making the shape that I created earlier, and here just Control Z, select this layer. So I'm just quickly creating a shape so that you know what I did. Now if you go back to final chart, and you can see, so this is what I created. So I spent more time on the other one. So basically, the idea behind is, this is how you do it. Now if you spend more time with this, you can take it to the next level. You can make it more realistic. Since it's a tutorial, so I've gone through it quickly. But the thing is that I hope you got the idea, how to create a realistic fire. And if you go to final that I created, that you will see that how I spend more time with it. And if you go to my pre-comp, and I've got the text here for Maxafter, so you can see that. So you can see that how realistic this file looks. So the best part in your tutorial, what I like was, if you go to edit text, and the fractal noise that you apply to it, and the particular reacting to the white and dark color, is just amazing, and it gives very good dynamic effect to your project. Otherwise, the whole text would have burnt in one go, which is not that exciting. So here, first this X catches fire, then A, then F, and slowly it increases, just like a natural fire. So the rest of the stuff, you can I've created here. My project is here, so that you can research from here. And these are just usual stuff that I've created in my other tutorials as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. Once again, my name is Shoaib Khan from Maxafter.com. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be on all of you.